Starseed of Gaia, your vessel is being recalibrated at a cellular level at this exact moment. I am Anya, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council. If you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Most people who watch are not subscribed yet. Starseed. The higher realms are sending you an urgent transmission about the sacred silence you must now embrace. This is not a message of fear. This is a protection protocol, a living frequency shield, transmitted from the Arcturian Council, because they have been observing subtle disturbances around your energetic field. And I need you to hear this clearly. Some souls in your immediate environment are not ready for the frequencies you're receiving, and your awakening, if spoken too soon, too loudly, or to the wrong ears, can create discord that threatens your mission and the ones you love. By the end of this transmission, you will understand why the Arcturian Council requests your temporary silence, how sacred secrecy preserves your activation path, and what to do when your nervous system tightens the moment you try to explain what you know. Because here is the first revelation. Your awakening does not require validation to be real. The most powerful starseeds often walk their early path in complete discretion, not because they are ashamed, but because they are wise. You did not receive these downloads by accident. Your guides are asking you to honor this protective phase because something profound is calibrating within you. This is not about hiding forever. This is about allowing your transformation to take root without interference, the way a seed splits open only when the season is right. And if you've felt watched, questioned, tested, sometimes not by a person but by the field itself, then you are already sensing what the Arcturians call architecture pressure, the reflex of old systems noticing a being stepping outside programming. So stay with me, because what looks like secrecy on the surface is often spiritual strategy beneath. And when you understand the difference, your silence becomes a temple, not a prison. There is a difference between silence and suppression. Suppression is when the throat closes out of fear, when you betray your truth to belong, when you shrink your frequency to avoid being targeted. But sacred silence, true Arcturian silence, is something else entirely. It is the act of harmonic containment, the ability to hold a high-voltage transmission inside your field until your body, your life, and your timeline can stabilize around it. As the Arcturians transmit, frequency is not just information, it is power in motion. A code is not merely an idea. A code is a living key. And when a key is placed into the wrong lock, it does not open a door, it breaks the mechanism. Many starseeds learn this through pain. You share too early with someone who cannot hold it, and suddenly your experience becomes a debate, a diagnosis, a joke, or a weapon. You may not consciously remember why your system hesitates, yet your energy body remembers. It remembers lifetimes where remembrance itself was perilous. It remembers being visible too soon, being misunderstood, monitored, or forced into roles that drained your mission. And so now, in this incarnation, your nervous system performs a scan before your soul speaks. Your shoulders tense, your stomach tightens, your throat constricts. Not because you are weak, but because your spirit is intelligent. Think of your awakening like a star igniting in a delicate atmosphere. If the air is unstable, the flame doesn't bless. It burns. The Arcturians are not asking you to become secretive for egoic reasons. They are asking you to become precise. They are asking you to stop pouring starlight into cracked vessels. Here is one of the most liberating truths. Not everyone deserves access to your inner altar. Not everyone is a safe container for what you carry. Some people will receive your sacred experiences and translate them through their wounds, then hand them back as mockery or fear. Others will want to possess your truth, turn it into a label, a trend, an identity costume. But your codes are not for spectacle. They are for transformation. And there is also a subtle energetic law most starseeds don't learn until they are exhausted. When you share a transmission with someone whose field is reactive, you don't just risk social discomfort. You risk energetic contamination, static in your auric layers, confusion in your compass, the impulse to defend yourself, prove yourself, or perform your spirituality. Each of those drains the exact energy meant for your mission. So silence becomes sacred hygiene, a spiritual technology, a frequency filter. It allows your codes to continue integrating without being distorted by external noise. It gives your awakening time to become embodied, not just believed. In nature, the most potent medicines are often protected by thorns, by bitterness, by distance, by rarity. Power does not advertise itself, it ripens. Your silence is not absence, it is ripening. It is the deep space interval where gravity forms galaxies. And if you've been judging yourself for being quiet, release that judgment now. You are not behind. You may be exactly where a guardian would be: strategic, devoted, coherent. The moment you begin awakening, you are not only changing your mindset, you are changing your signal. And when your signal changes, the field responds. This is why many starseeds feel like they are being tested right when they start receiving downloads. Not necessarily by a person in the room, but by the energetic architecture of the collective itself. As the Arcturians transmit, when one being begins to awaken beyond programming, the old architecture notices. The collective unconscious has reflexes. Systems built on distortion do not always respond with open arms when a frequency enters that dissolves illusion. And here is where your path becomes subtle. You must learn to recognize the difference between curiosity and extraction, between interest and entitlement, between someone who wants to understand and someone who wants to control. Many starseeds think their hesitation means they are not confident, not healed, not brave. But often, your spirit is measuring coherence. Your soul is assessing whether the environment can hold your voltage without fragmenting it. It's like trying to broadcast a crystalline tone through a radio full of static. Even if the message is pure, the output becomes distorted. This is why your body reacts before your mind can explain. Your nervous system is an oracle. It reads frequency. It senses micro-inconsistencies in someone's field. It detects whether a space is safe for truth or hungry for drama. You might notice your throat tightens when someone demands answers. Your stomach contracts when someone jokes about spirituality in a sharp way. Your shoulders rise when a conversation feels like a trap. Your breath becomes shallow when you feel watched. None of these are random. They are resonance checks. And your task is not to override them with politeness. Your task is to honor them with wisdom. So what do you do when you sense the guardians of illusion stirring? You don't go to war. You don't preach. You don't perform. You go inward and stabilize your signal. There is an Arcturian method for this: crystallization of intention. Before you share anything, online or in person, set a clear directive inside your field. Let what I share serve the highest good. Let only what is safe be revealed. Let my words land only where they can be held in love. This is not superstition. This is spiritual physics. Intention shapes how your energy organizes itself. It creates a harmonic boundary that does not block love, only distortion. And now I want to tell you something that will free you. You do not owe anyone full access to your cosmology. You can share in layers. You can speak in symbols. You can offer feelings without offering the entire map. Layers are not deception. Layers are design. The universe itself reveals in gradients. Dawn does not slam into noon. If you've been pressured to come out spiritually, to announce everything, to prove your experiences, pause. Your mission is not to satisfy the curiosity of the unready. Your mission is to anchor frequency. And when the container is right, your sharing won't feel like jumping off a cliff. It will feel like stepping onto a bridge that was built for you long before you arrived. The ebook, The 12 Arcturian Portals, a trilogy that teaches you how to activate your 5D connection with the Arcturian masters through 12 energetic portals. Practical techniques, activation protocols, and rituals that awaken your stellar DNA. From amplified intuition to direct communication with spiritual guides. Attention! Limited edition. The link to get your trilogy is in the first pinned comment. There is a misconception on Earth that discernment is judgment. It is not. Discernment is clarity without cruelty. It is the ability to recognize resonance without needing to insult what is not resonant. And for Starseeds, discernment is not optional. It is sacred hygiene, spiritual technology, and timeline protection. As the Arcturians transmit, perception is frequency-based. If the receiver is not tuned, the transmission will sound like nonsense. This is why you can share something holy and watch it get reduced into mockery, skepticism, or trendy entertainment. The message did not fail. The receiver was not calibrated. So how do you discern without becoming closed? You start with one simple question. Do I feel expanded in this person's presence, or do I feel like I'm shrinking? That question alone can save you years. You may meet someone who says all the right words, but their energy feels invasive, like they're scanning you. You may meet someone who barely speaks, yet you feel safe, as if your soul can exhale. Trust the body. Trust the subtleties. Your body was trained across lifetimes and across worlds to recognize truth by resonance, not by rhetoric. Here is a story many Starseeds will recognize. A woman, let's call her Mira, began receiving vivid blue light dreams. Sacred geometry appeared behind her eyelids. She woke up with codes in her hands, drawing shapes she didn't understand. She felt called to share. She posted online, excited, raw, open. Immediately, the comments flooded in. Some were supportive, but many were hungry. They demanded explanations. They asked for proof. They mocked. They tried to label her delusional, chosen, special, dangerous, fake. Mira began to respond. She defended, she explained, she argued, she tried to be understood. Within a week, her dreams stopped. Not because the guides left, but because her field became noisy. Her attention scattered. Her nervous system stayed activated. Her inner channel narrowed. Then something changed. She stopped speaking about it publicly. She returned to silence, not as retreat, but as reclamation. She started grounding, breathwork, water rituals. She set boundaries with people who felt intrusive. She shared only with one person who felt safe. And slowly, the dreams returned, but clearer, stronger, more coherent. Her system could hold them again. That is discernment. Discernment does not mean you stop loving people. It means you stop giving sacred access to those who cannot honor it. It means you stop pouring your altar fire into cold hands. And here is an Arcturian key. Discernment is not just about who, it is about when. Some people may be safe later, after they awaken. Some spaces may become resonant after the energy shifts. But right now, your mission requires precision. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. Now, what do you do when you must be around people who are not aligned? Family, work, social circles? The Arcturian answer is not confrontation. It is coherence. You become the consecrated gate, not locked, not fearful, simply sovereign. You decide what enters, what stays, and what leaves. You hold your frequency steady. You speak lightly when needed. You reveal deeply only when safe. And you remember, your mission is not to be understood by everyone. Your mission is to remain intact long enough to anchor what you came to anchor. At the end of this topic, I'll leave you with a practice. Before you enter any conversation, silently ask your field, is this a portal or a drain? If it's a portal, proceed with presence. If it's a drain, proceed with boundaries. Either way, you stay sovereign. Many starseeds think the main threat to their awakening is other people. But as the Arcturians transmit, environment is frequency. Your home has a frequency. Your phone has a frequency. The group chat has a frequency. The platform you post on has a frequency. And if you do not learn to harmonize your environment, your signal will constantly be pulled into static. Environment is not just furniture and walls. It is the emotional weather of a space. It is what has happened there repeatedly. It is the residue of arguments, the stale air of resentment, the quiet grief no one names. It is also the digital field where attention is traded like currency, where people speak without reverence, where words become weapons for sport. So before you share anything sacred, ask, what is the dominant frequency here? Is it openness, compassion, curiosity? Or is it cynicism, competition, control? Here's the hidden truth. You can be surrounded by nice people and still be in a hostile field. Because hostility is not always loud. Sometimes hostility is dismissiveness. Sometimes it's sarcasm. Sometimes it's the subtle pressure to be normal. And as your codes intensify, your system becomes more sensitive. You start feeling what you used to ignore. Sounds become sharper. Crowds become heavier. Certain conversations feel like energetic sandpaper. This is not weakness. This is calibration. So the Arcturian practice is simple and powerful. Stabilize your signal before you enter a space. Ground your feet. Slow the breath. Call your energy back from every place it has scattered. Imagine your aura sealing like a geometric lattice. Bright, coherent, structured. Not rigid, just organized. There is a reason sacred temples were designed with intention. Geometry matters. Silence matters. Cleanliness matters. Ritual matters. It's not superstition, it's signal engineering. If your body is a receiver, your environment is the antenna field around it. Even practical actions become spiritual technology. Reduce chaotic input before you speak your truth. Clean your space, not obsessively, but reverently. Create a small ritual before posting or going live. Step away from spaces that feed conflict. Spend time in nature to recalibrate your nervous system. And if you cannot change the environment, work, family, obligations, you change your coherence within it. You become the stable tone inside the noise. You become the calm eye inside the storm. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this, because there are starseeds right now who are speaking too soon, bleeding their energy into the wrong containers, then wondering why they feel drained. It's not because their mission is wrong, it's because their environment is unharmonized. If you harmonize your space, your codes land cleaner. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your body becomes safer to inhabit. And then, when you do choose to speak, you speak from clarity, not urgency. There is a sacred art the Arcturians teach starseeds, calibrated revelation. It is the skill of unveiling encoded wisdom in layers, like dawn unfolding into morning, like a flower opening in its own time. Calibrated revelation is not manipulation. It is alignment. Many starseeds make the same mistake. They either say nothing for years, out of fear, or they say everything at once, out of overwhelm. Both extremes can destabilize the mission. The middle path is mastery. As the Arcturians transmit, a transmission must meet a container. If you pour too much light into a space that cannot hold it, the light becomes distortion, and distortion is not harmless. Distortion can lead to you questioning yourself, you over-explaining, you defending what should be sacred, you performing instead of embodying, you losing the subtle guidance in the noise. So the Arcturian approach is this. Begin with fragments, a story, a symbol, a feeling, a synchronicity. Let people show you their resonance before you give them your altar. You might say, I've been going through a transformation, instead of, I'm receiving Arcturian codes. You might share a dream without demanding that others interpret it correctly. You might mention sacred geometry as curiosity, not as doctrine. Watch how the field responds. Does it open? Does it soften? Does it become reverent? Or does it become hungry, mocking, invasive? Here is a story. A man, call him Elias, felt called to share his awakening with a close friend. He did not dump everything. He shared one simple experience. Sometimes when I meditate, I feel a blue presence that brings calm. His friend leaned in, eyes gentle, and said, "Tell me what it feels like in your body." No judgment, no demand, only presence. Elias felt his chest expand, his breath deepened. After that conversation, he slept deeply, his dreams intensified, his intuition sharpened. Why? Because the exchange was clean, the container was safe. Later, he tried sharing with another friend who loved debating everything. The friend immediately challenged, "Prove it. How do you know it's real? Isn't that just psychology?" Elias felt his throat tighten. He left the conversation feeling scattered. That night he couldn't meditate. He felt irritable. Not because the friend was evil, but because the container was wrong for that transmission. Calibrated revelation means you stop trying to make everyone a container. You stop trying to force resonance. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Because this is what Starseeds are learning now. Your mission does not require mass approval. It requires precision alignment. When you share in layers, you protect your flame. You let the right ones find you organically, through resonance, not persuasion. And this is important. Pay attention to how you feel after you share. Do you feel energized, peaceful, grounded? Or do you feel drained, exposed, and restless? Your body will tell you whether the exchange was coherent. The more you practice calibrated revelation, the more your field becomes sovereign. You will know exactly when to speak and when to hold. You will learn that silence is not emptiness. It is containment. And containment is what makes transmission powerful. There is a phase on the path that many starseeds misunderstand: protective non-disclosure. They think if they are not speaking, they are failing. They think if they are not posting, they are wasting their mission. But the Arcturians teach something that can change your entire relationship with visibility. Some of the most powerful codes in the universe are shared in silence, through presence, through action, through quantum entanglement, not words. You transmit what you are, not only what you say. There is a kind of holy silence that is not avoidance, but amplification. It is when your field becomes so coherent that you shift rooms without explanation. People feel calmer around you. Conflict de-escalates when you enter. Synchronicities increase. Opportunities appear. This is not fantasy. It is frequency impact. In this phase, you learn something profound. Ego needs visibility. Mission needs effectiveness. Many of your most important actions will never be applauded. You will help someone simply by listening. You will anchor a timeline simply by not reacting. You will protect your loved ones simply by refusing to feed fear. You will stabilize a space simply by holding your breath steady when others are spiraling. And yes, sometimes people will misunderstand your quietness. They will call you distant, mysterious, hard to read. But what they are sensing is spiritual containment, the ability to hold power without leaking it. Here is an Arcturian metaphor. Your body is a temple built in stages. You do not place the most sacred artifact at the center before the foundation is sealed. First, you clear the land. Then you lay stone. Then you consecrate the space. Your daily practices are the pillars. Your relationships are the walls. Your truth is the altar fire. If you light the fire too early, it does not bless. It burns. Protective non-disclosure is not the end of your voice. It is the preparation of your voice. It is the phase where your system learns, I do not have to explain myself to be real. And this is where many starseeds reclaim their life force. They stop arguing about what they know. They stop chasing validation. They stop performing spirituality. Instead, they become a stable channel, a living transmission. In this phase, You may feel an inner pressure building, like something is gathering. That is not suppression. That is compression into coherence. It is like a star collapsing into brighter radiance. The quieter you become, the clearer you become. The clearer you become, the more undeniable your presence becomes. So if you are in a season of silence, do not panic. The Arcturians often initiate silence before expansion. It is the cocoon. It is the chrysalis. It is where your wings form. The final phase is sovereign trust. Trust in your inner compass. Trust in your star family. Trust that the right alliances will form when your frequency is ready to be met. Sovereign trust is not passive. It is not waiting in a vague way. It is an active relationship with the unseen. It is waking up and saying, "Guide me to where my light belongs today." It is noticing invitations that feel clean and refusing invitations that feel like temptation. And here is what you must remember. The time to reveal will not arrive through external permission. It will arrive through resonance rising from within your core. One day, sharing will not feel like exposure. It will feel like alignment. It will feel like breath. It will feel like home. As the Arcturians transmit, the universe speaks in patterns. When your unveiling is correct, you will see the signs. Repeated names, repeated symbols, unexpected doors opening, conversations that feel ordained. You will meet allies who do not demand you abandon yourself. You will meet people whose presence feels like a safe riverbank. And your truth will land without force. This is why your silence is not emptiness. It is architecture. It is the sacred pause where your frequency settles into the earth grid. It is where your nervous system learns embodiment is safe. It is where your heart learns the difference between being seen and being consumed. And when you do speak, it will not be from urgency. It will be from clarity. Like a bell tone traveling through dimensions, clean, unmistakable, true. So release the shame around discretion. Release the belief that you must announce everything to be real. Your mission is protected when your truth is guarded with wisdom. Your codes are not fragile, but the integration process is sacred and it deserves reverence. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.